afternoon, everyone. Great afternoon, everyone. No, I said great afternoon, everyone. Yeah, this is a call and response. I'm gonna say it one more time. Great afternoon, everyone. Great. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Seed faculty, friends, staff, and scholars to the 14th Annual Founders Day Assembly. This is a time when we gather as a community to celebrate the founding of our school, our mission, and the accomplishments of those helping us to achieve excellence. That means this is about all of us. We have all benefited from studying at, working in, and partnering with the Seed Public Charter School of Washington, D.C. Let me tell you a little bit more about why this day is significant. The Seed Public Charter School of Washington, D.C. is the nation's first public college preparatory boarding school in the nation. Yeah, that's worthy to clap for. But you might still say, well, I don't know, because that clap was a little lukewarm. Why is that important? Why? Our founders, Raj Vinakota and Eric Adler, firmly believed that the education landscape was not equitable for all families. Before Seed was founded, the only way families could have their children attend a boarding school or to receive a boarding school education was to pay for it out of their own pockets. The average cost to attend a boarding school in America, most of which are private schools, is $38,850. The most expensive boarding schools in the nation are $60,000. Mr. Adler and Mr. Vinakota thought families should have a public school option where their scholars could receive a boarding school education and it be a tuition-free boarding school education. So what they did was that they fought for legislation to be passed to include a boarding school model in the nation's public school landscape structure. And as we now know, they won. That's great for all of us. Talk about education reform at its finest. And so the story goes that the Seed Public Charter School of Washington, D.C., a public tuition-free option, made history a little over 20 years ago when it opened its doors to scholars for the first time in 1998. And we continue to make history today as being the only Tier 1 high school in Ward 7. In case you don't know what that means we are the highest ranking public charter school in Ward 7. Public charter high school in Ward 7. The mission of the school, as you know, is to provide an outstanding intensive educational program that prepares scholars both academically and socially for success in college and beyond. Not only that, one of the foundations of our day-to-day program are our core values: respect, responsibility, compassion, and self-discipline, which some of you need to exercise in this moment. Self-discipline. On this Founders Day, we celebrate scholars and graduates and staff members who have devoted a portion of their professional career in service of our mission and who have reflected our core values. Later in the program, we will specifically honor the following staff members for reaching their 4-year mark in service at Seed DC. Mr. Brendan Dowd, Mrs. Marjorie Howard, Mr. Michael Street, Miss Alexis Holloway, Miss Tina Taylor, and Miss Nikita Rockwell. It is, oh, and Miss Nutridge. Just kidding, just trying to see if you notice. It is always our hope that in honor of you, this ceremony will be the very best, because on this day, you deserve our very best. I would also like to welcome the family members who have come to support our honorees. Let's give them a round of applause for coming to support. We will now officially begin the ceremony by the singing of the Black National Anthem and reciting the Seed Pledge. The words to both can be found in your program. Please stand with me and welcome Miss Jordan Artis, class of 2020, as she leads us in the Black National Anthem. After the song, please remain standing for Mr. Edwin Johnson, class of 2019, who will lead us in the Seed Pledge. Please stand.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let every sound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the hate that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastising rod. Felt in the days when hope unknown had died, yet with the steady beat of our weary feet, come to the place for which our fathers died. We have come over a way with shelter, camp, and water. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past,
until we want. People all around us wonder who we are. We are the seed. The future stars. We can't be stopped. Our minds are too strong. We end with knowledge, and we don't do wrong. We are working hard every day. We are one. And here to stay.
Thank you, Mr. Artist and Mr. Johnson. Let's give them a round of applause again. Let's remember, this is a celebratory day, so we're here to celebrate each of you and our honorees. I would now like to welcome Mr. Anthony Simmons, class of 2020 and 11th grade president of PGC leader and member of Seed's varsity basketball team. He will welcome us to this year's Founders Day.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. As Mrs. Emmons said, my name is Anthony Simmons. I'm an 11th grade president, a member of PGC, Peer Group Connection, and a member of the Seeds varsity basketball team. I am honored to welcome you to our Founders Day program. Each spring we gather to honor the founding of our school in 1998 by Mr. Vinacoda and Mr. Adler. At this event, we also present faculty recognition chairs to those members of our staff who have committed 4 complete and consecutive school years to the Seed Public Charter School of Washington, D.C. We will recognize a male and a female 11th or 12th grade student that exemplifies the missions, ideals, and culture of our school with the Vinacoda Award. Today we will honor and celebrate the work of our 2 founders, our 7 faculty and staff receiving recognition chairs, and our 2 students receiving the Vinacoda Award. But Founders Day is more about than our recipients. Founders Day is also a celebration of our community as a whole, especially the 268 students who feel it's always. Our founders and the faculty and staff who are here today, and those who have come and gone, have laid a foundation for us, but we are the ones who define our school, history, and mission as we continue to build our school each and every day. And so, as we salute and honor our founders, our chair recipients, and our Vinacoda Award winners, know that we are also honoring us, the students, as we continue to build Seed and leave it better than we entered. Welcome to our Founders Day ceremony.
Great job, Mr. Simmons. I would now like to welcome to the podium a Seed alumna, Miss Arnice Cottom, class of 2011, who received her bachelor's degree from Elizabeth City State University, class of 2015, and her master's degree from Trinity Washington University, class of 2018. Let's show her love as she comes to the podium to share her reflections from her Seed experience.
Good afternoon. Faculty, staff, and of course, the students. My name is Arnice Cottom, and I am a member of the Seed graduating class of 2011. In 2015, I graduated from Elizabeth City State University with a degree in mass communications with a concentration in PR and advertising with a minor in music. And in 2018, I received my master's degree in strategic communications from Trinity Washington University. anything is possible. When I first stepped foot on campus in 2005, I had no clue what to expect. All I knew was that I got a chance to get away from my annoying siblings. What I didn't know was that I was about to embark on a journey that would change the trajectory of my life. From having my first performances on stage under the direction of Dr. Bagley and Mr. Frazier, I learned that my passion can become my reality if I work hard and commit to my dreams. As an 8th grader, I had a fear of being in front of people, especially in performance settings. But I really wanted to be in the place because I saw an amazing show the year before when they did Grease. I was extremely nervous auditioning and thought that I would just be in background, and I was happy with that. However, Dr. Bagley saw something different. He pushed me, he made me look past my fears, and to use it as fuel to propel me forward. He helped me hone in on my gifts and helped me nurture them so that I believed in myself as much as he believed in me. Not only was I the lead in my first show, but I was the lead in several shows up until the time I graduated in 2011. I never stepped out the way that I did. So thank you, Dr. Bagley and Frazier. Through teachers like Mr. Kandick and Ms. Subramanian, I found passion in the arts through all forms. And through the conversations with my LSCs and mentors like Harley Morgan, Carmen Brown, Frances McQuarrie, Miss Brown, Miss O, and so many others, I've learned that love is an infinite gift and is given as easily as it is received. Through my time at Seed, I grew to be a compassionate human being whose passions for others has helped me in a multitude of ways. So much so that I plan to get my PhD in the spring of 2020 in health communications. Something that I feel near and dear to my heart. Thank you, Seed, for instilling so many lessons in me and for representing what so many like myself have been in and is in need of, a safe space for children to explore and grow into future passionate leaders of tomorrow. Happy Founders Day.
Let's give Ms. Cottom another round of applause. We are so proud of you, Ms. Cottom, and all of your accomplishments. Thank you for being here today. At this time, we will present the Vinacoda Awards to a male and a female 11th or 12th grade scholar who have made significant contributions to the Seed community. Both scholars receiving the Vinacoda Awards made a commitment to work hard and to be their best selves. Marcus Garvey, who was an activist, a political leader, publisher, journalist, entrepreneur, and orator, once said, "We must give up the silly idea of folding our hands and waiting on God to do everything for us. If God had intended for that, then he would not have given us a mind. Whatever you want in life, you must make up your mind to do it yourself." Mr. Garvey referenced God, but we should go as far as to say that you should not wait for anybody to do everything for you. Whatever you want in life, you must make up your mind to do it for yourself. The scholars being honored today did not sit with folded arms expecting others to do for them. Instead, they owned their journeys and persevered and pushed through their challenges. That is why the two scholars receiving the awards are being recognized today. What I remember, I'm just going to give a personal note, when they first walked the doors of Seed, let me tell you, the scholars who are receiving the awards today are not the same scholars who first entered our doors in 6th grade. The Vinacoda Award is given to a male or female scholar who has made a significant contribution to the ideals and culture of Seed's mission. This award is named in honor of Raj Vinacoda's grandparents, who inspired him to found the Seed School. The first Vinacoda Award winner has distinguished himself throughout his time at Seed and is an example of the work ethic and the positive relationship building we hope all scholars learn while they are here. His natural curiosity led him to experience all of what Seed has to offer, and he takes advantage of every opportunity that is available to every scholar here. He thrives on challenges. He is a hard worker. He is compassionate, supportive, and an ideal team player. He has truly grown into a successful young man on the cusp of entering college. We can remember him as an unfocused, goofy, 9th grade scholar. As a leader of the Peer Group Connections, PGC, we have witnessed him blossom into a wonderful and caring young man. He has traveled to Greece for an international learning initiative. His growth and focus in academics have earned him recognition. Please join me in celebrating this year's recipient of the Vena Coda Award. Can I get a drum roll, please? From the class of 2019, Mr. Jeffrey Moore IV. He said when he came up, "Are y'all for real?" Yes, Mr. Moore, we are for real. Our second Vena Coda Award winner is also an outstanding member of the class of 2019. This scholar arrived at Seed with a deep drive that kept her focused. She is a mentor for students around her and a peer group connections leader. She made her theatrical debut as a member of the Seed Falcon Theater during the 2013-2014 season with the production of Annie. Staff members enjoy watching her enthusiasm for theater grow over the years, particularly in the most recent production of Once on This Island, where she portrayed multiple roles and speaking parts. She also captured the heart of Greece ambassador Philon during her travels to Greece with the Greece Scholars Program in 2016, and impressed many with her breadth of understanding of Greece history and culture. She has definitely made her mark here at Seed and is well deserving of our continued support. Please join me in celebrating this year's recipient of the Vena Coda Award. Drum roll. From the class of 2019, Miss Imani Nixon. We would now like to ask that Mr. Trask join us on the stage.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Seed community, for having me here today. My name is Michael Trask. I am the program director for Posse Foundation here in DC. And on behalf of Posse Foundation, I am pleased to be here because in your company here in the class of 2019, we do have a Posse Scholar. This individual has been involved with the selection process for since August of 2018, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know her as well, doing her second round interview in the office, which is a treat. I only get to do like 100 each year. She was one of them, so I feel very attached to this person, and this scholarship allows students to go together to college in a posse. So 1989, posse was a term. It might be called the Squad Foundation today, something like that. But the Posse Foundation takes talented young people from DC metropolitan area and sends them together as teams to college together. And this person will be attending Sewanee University in the South as a member of Posse DC 13. It gives me great pleasure. Monet.
Congratulations, Miss Monet Scott. All right, we're almost at the place where we get to recognize our staff members. But before we do, I'd like to ask all of our seniors to please stand. This is our seniors. For you, this is your last Founders Day. Don't be too excited. We are excited about your future and all that the mission of this school has imparted in you, and you have added to it. So we thank each and every one of you. And you know this journey doesn't end here. This may be your last Founders Day, but hello. CTS. Hello, you will be transitioning and will be remaining a part of the Seed family, probably for the rest of your lives. Thank you for everything that you have contributed to our school. You may take your seats. I made more work for CTS. I would also like to recognize our staff members who have been with us for 10 or more years. Will you please stand? Please stand, don't be shy. Miss Gaddis. No? Just kidding. Everyone, we can't see you. Come to the center a little bit. If you're on the wall, we need to recognize you. 10 years is a significant contribution to our community. Seed Foundation 2, 10 or more, come and be recognized so that we can honor your contributions to our school. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for showing up every day. Thank you for being available 24 hours a day for our scholars, staff, and families. Thank you. You may now take your seats. Okay, I'm gonna work your quads a little bit. Now, will everyone who has ever received a seed chair please stand? Every staff member, let's see see you. Raise your hands high and proud. That's not high and proud, Mr. Huggins. Raise your hands high and proud. As was said to our 10 or more, we thank you. You may take your seat. We now move to the part of the assembly that recognizes the dedication of each SEED faculty member who has reached the milestone of working at SEED for 4 complete consecutive school years. As is tradition, we recognize our honorees with a SEED chair that you see in front of us here. This year, we recognize Mr. Brendan Dowd again, Mrs. Marjorie Howard, Mr. Michael Street, Miss Alexis Holloway, Mrs. Devette Nutridge, Miss Tina Taylor, and Miss Nikita Walker. Without further ado, I'd like to ask Mr. Brendan Dowd to come stand in front of his chair. You can pick, they're all the same. Mr. Ken Arndt, Managing Director, would you please come to the stage to honor your 3 director reports?
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm not thinking my 3 guys got as much love as the teachers and the student life people. But the 3 people that I'm going to honor today really provide a backbone for keeping the school running. And they, quite frankly, keep me out of trouble on my day-to-day job. So with that being said, I'm going to do Mr. Dowd first. And in deference to my age, I'm going to put my glasses on because otherwise I can't see the speech. Mr. Dowd is the campus operations manager for the school. You may ask, what does that mean? I mean, basically, Mr. Dowd keeps everything running. Without him and his department, we would not have air conditioning. Sometimes we don't anyways in the break. Heat, running water, working showers, toilets, clean areas, or other necessities. He and his department are kept constantly busy maintaining all the things required to keep a community of 300 safe and secure. And he also fixes everything that's get broken around there. Not that everything get broken. And on top of all this, he manages the security for the school, oversees the cleaning crews, and takes care of the bands. And hopefully you all appreciate what he does and enjoy some of the things like the new vans that he has provided for us. In his spare time, Mr. Dowd runs a snowboarding group over the winters. For those of you that have participated in this, you know how much he enjoys snowboarding and doing it with you. If you really want to see him in action and have some fun, I recommend you sign up for that next year. I'd like everybody, if they please could, to give a round of applause for Mr. Dowd. You guys are stuck with me between the rows, so I'll just keep going. Ms. Howard, if you would please come back. I think a lot of you know Ms. Howard. She does a lot of things for us, and she manages all the school grants for the school. Most of the things that you do after school are paid for by the grants. Many of the activities you do, such as archery, Step Africa, girls, rock, boxing, double dutch, dance, cheerleading, and among other things, basically Ms. Howard manages, gets us the money for that, and keeps us on track so that we can keep getting money. Hopefully you all had a chance to participate in after-school events. And if you have, hopefully, Ms. Howard has helped providing you with a positive experience. These grants actually total in the hundreds of thousands of dollars that she manages, so she's a very important part of the school, providing things to you. Lastly, Ms. Howard, along with myself, although Ms. Howard does most of the work, manages the cafeteria. This is an extremely difficult job trying to make sure we provide all scholars with required government food, but also making sure it is something that everybody wants to eat. Sometimes it doesn't work out as well as everybody likes, but she does her best in making sure everybody's happy. So as you can see, Ms. Howard's work touches all of us in some way or another. I know she enjoys her time here at Seed, helping all of us succeed. So if you please give a round of applause, Ms. Howard. Mr. Street, if you would come back. Here is a man who keeps me out of trouble and gets me into trouble. So I want to thank him very much for everything he does. As most of you may know, Mr. Street is the technical support manager for the school. What that means is anything computer, phone, copier, printer, or information technology, internet related, goes to Mr. Street. For scholars, he ensures that there are working Chromebooks and iPads available each day. This requires him and his department to maintain and fix over 500 devices. And at any point in time, as you are probably all aware, there may be quite a few of them that are broken. So you guys keep him busy. For teachers, he ensures that they have computer access, copiers, printers, and phones working at all times. So whenever you see one of the teachers having a computer problem, Mr. Street usually shows up to the rescue. Hopefully sooner versus later. Right? Most importantly for all of us, it keeps our internet connections working. So we can go online. Without him, none of us would be able to enjoy the internet or go online or do any of our schoolwork. Mr. Street thoroughly enjoys his time working here at Seed and interacting with all scholars, and I'm sure at some point in time or another, you've asked him to help with something. So with that, if you could all please give a round of applause to Mr. Street. And that is it for me today.
Thank you, Mr. Arndt, for recognizing your team. I would now like to ask Miss Alexis Holloway to come stand in front of her chair. Mrs. Holman Jones, would you please come and honor Miss Holloway?
Good afternoon. According to Jennifer Bourne, a renowned author that writes about color and art, Black is associated with power, authority, elegance, sophistication. Black is also required for all other colors to have depth and variation of hue. Ms. Holloway is the face of our organization. She is required for our community to feel welcomed. It is a privilege to have her in our community. Why is Black important? First, it's her favorite color. It says so much about her power as a leader in this community. Black is formal, and if anyone has encountered Ms. Holloway during a stressful situation, she is well put together and a pillar of strength. Black is serious and powerful. Ms. Holloway is diligent in her work and works hard to find solutions. Black is authoritative and powerful and evokes strong emotion, as it is a privilege to serve with her in our office. She helps students manage their everyday needs. I also appreciate how she keeps me up to date with the current fashion trends, social media platform, and keeps her ear to the street for important updates. The author stresses that the color Black affects the mind and body by helping to create an inconspicuous feeling, boosting confidence and appearance, increasing the sense of potential and possibility. Ms. Holloway was a model student and took advantage of the possibilities that Seed had to offer. She traveled internationally and was active in our student government. Mrs. William reflects, Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. She treats others the way she wants to be treated, with kindness and respect. She is adaptable, amenable, calm, conscientious, considerate, sensible, shy sometimes, tidy, and very unassuming. She is important to Mrs. Williams because she is genuinely kind and helpful. She is important because she always comes through in the clutch, ready to help. Ms. Holloway, you make being the school receptionist look like a cakewalk, although I know at times you are on the receiving end of some of the most negative interactions. It never seems to bother you. Thank you for always being helpful and never letting it get to you. You are the epitome of a SEED employee, and we appreciate you more than words can express. I'm almost done. Mr. X emphasizes, Ms. Holloway represents the epitome of a SEED graduate. She is uniquely skilled at presenting our program with a clear lens and unique perspective that is rooted in love for her alma mater. Mr. X recalls Ms. Holloway also always shows up when she is needed. She can be trusted and continues to rise to the occasion and manages her role. Mr. X further learned that mixing a jazzy pair of shoes with a more or less transitional look outfit makes all the difference. He wants to thank Ms. Holloway for always sharing what she learns from others, as it literally has forced him to take an account of the difference he can make in our community. Darian says of her senior supporter, thank you, Ms. Holloway is always my support system. She tells me what I need to hear, whether I like it or not. She is always there for me, and she has no idea how she continues to help me strive. During her senior year, she would not know what to do without her. She wants her to know, Ms. Holloway, can you come to college with her? She encourages me to work hard and tells me never to give up. Ms. Holloway is strong, loyal, loving, and a caring person, and for that, I will always love her. Thank you, Deb. Brianna Schaefer also remarked that she has been there for me personally and academically. She will stay after school, and she has helped me apply to college. I appreciate her. We publicly honor you and thank you for your service, and you may now take your seat.
I would now like to ask Mr. Vette Nutridge, to come stand in front of the chair. Mr. Paris Brown, class of 2022, would you please come to the stage to honor Mrs. Nutridge?
When she isn't DJing at a club or a school dance, you can find her on the basketball court being a coach. You can find her responding to a call from CPI in class teaching or dancing down the hallway with her best friends. When you are with Mrs. Nutridge, just like Allstate, you are in good hands. She is kind, generous, patient, compassionate, helpful, dynamic, reliable, and most importantly, a CE All-Star. Mrs. Nutridge is important to us all because she is always on the run, literally, to help me see a better place. Her smile is contagious, and each day I'm looking forward to her unique style in class. She hardly raises her voice to speak, but when she talks, we all listen, because she might have something valuable to say. My fondest memory of her was in 8th grade when I transferred to CE off of the waiting list in late September. This transition was a difficult one for me, and I became a chronic sleeper in class. She was there to wake me up and help me understand the work without judgment. In that moment, I realized that she was more than my teacher. She was my family. Mrs. Nutridge cared about my education more than I did. She wanted the best for me, and she provided my classmates with her best effort. It has been said that mistakes are there to teach us valuable lessons. I learned a hard lesson last year when I was retained in the 9th grade because of my foolishness and lack of effort with my schoolwork. Mrs. Nutridge told me that setbacks are simply a setup for success. I've learned from her that everything is not easy, but everything can be figured out. I made a lot of dumb decisions in life, and Mrs. Nutridge finds a way to offer sound advice that guides me through the process. Mrs. Nutridge is a person that will understand a lot of problems and will try to help. Few people have the ability to help others overcome obstacles. She is rare. She represents those people. I want to thank Mrs. Nutridge for being there every step of the way, even after I repeated the 9th grade. Even after I disrupted her class multiple times, and including almost fighting her class. I will accept everything that comes with Mrs. Nutridge because she is like family. She is always there through everything. So it is with great pleasure that I say, Mrs. Nutridge, you may now take a seat.
I would now like to ask Miss Tina Taylor to come stand in front of the chair. Ms. Danae Bennett, class of 2019, Mr. Kayvon Brown, class of 2020, and Mr. Anthony Simmons, class of 2020, would you please come to the stage to honor Ms. Taylor?
Throughout my years of attending Seed, I was not always as confident in singing and being myself. When I joined the Seed Falcon Theater, I met this woman who reminded me so much of myself. Passionate, smart, sweet but spicy, and most importantly, confident. Ms. Taylor has taught me to love myself no matter what, and always be open to trying new things. It's pretty ironic that I have this kind of bond with her now, because we have not always been on the same page. Despite our zodiac signs being the same and sharing the talent and love of singing, we've had many run-ins during rehearsals. We didn't always see eye to eye, we didn't always agree about the artistic process, but through deep conversation, encouragement, and a bit of heart-to-heart, Ms. Taylor has taught me so much about myself, about life, and about singing. Ms. Taylor is nice, smart, and has a fun personality. I have had the pleasure of working with her for the past 3 years of my life, and I am very thankful for her and everything that she has taught me.
A supporter, a nurturer, a protector, a guider, a mother. These are all aspects of Ms. Taylor. I have known Ms. Taylor since the 8th grade. Ms. Taylor and I started off rough. First time meeting Ms. Taylor, I would try to make her quit because I couldn't handle the fact of having a female already. Ms. Taylor and I would sometimes disagree, and sometimes she was just too nice to me when I wanted her to be so mean and yell at me. She only cried once. That's when she had enough, and that's the day I met Timothy and or Blair. Over the years, and even standing here today, my relationship with Ms. Taylor continues to grow every day. Ms. Taylor is a phenomenal woman, and I thank you, Ms. Taylor, for the 4 years of your dedication and hard work.
My 8th grade year, I was introduced to the idea that Hiram House will have a female RA, which is a resident advisor. I didn't think it was a great idea at first. I thought this new lady would be annoying. But later, as we got into the year, I learned that there's more to this lady than I thought. She was smart, honest, gave great advice. She could even sing. But most importantly, she gave the boys a responsibility to make their own decisions, whether they were good or bad. Ms. Taylor also let us know that there would be consequences for any bad decisions we made. This phenomenal woman has become the mother of every male in the class of 2020, especially me. And of course, I want to replace her spot for anyone. Ms. Taylor, you may take your seat.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
I would now like to ask Miss Nikita Walker to come stand in front of her chair. Miss Stacy Pearl, Assistant Head of School, would you please come to the stage to honor Miss Walker?
Good afternoon. It is with great honor that I stand before the Seed community to share a bit about Ms. Walker. Not only is Ms. Walker my former student, but she is also a proud Seed graduate who has overcome many challenges. For the past 4 years, Ms. Walker has served as the administrative assistant to the Student Support Services Department. In this role, Ms. Walker wears many hats. For the students at Seed, her greatest impact has been the support that she provides to the Wellness Suite. It is common that a staff member doing imperative work behind the scenes is not visible to the community. Ms. Walker's work has impacted every staff member and every student on Seed's campus. Ms. Walker has demonstrated a commitment and dedication to giving back to her Seed community. If you ask Life Jackson about Ms. Walker, Life will tell you that Ms. Walker is nice, funny, and helpful. If Life needs assistance, she can count on Ms. Walker to listen and to offer her support. Tasia Galloway describes Ms. Walker as funny, a great person when you need a shoulder to cry on, and always there when you need her. She is someone you can trust. From filing thousands of papers, to preparing materials for trainings and posting signs around campus, to putting up bulletin boards and to covering the Wellness Suite, Ms. Walker is getting the work done, and Seed is grateful for her. Ms. Walker, you may now take your seat.
Seed community, can we please stand and honor this year's Seed Chair recipients? Congratulations, honorees. You can remain in your seats. Before we issue our closing remarks, I'd like to just say thank you to everyone who played a part in preparing for this celebration. But I'd like to acknowledge one particular person who made sure we had reserved seating, you have programs, we had the ceremony videotapes, speeches, and script was all put together, awards organized, certificates printed and put in frames, tablecloth here. I mean, we could go on and on. Ms. Makel, thank you on behalf of the Seed community for all that you do. Please stand. I would now like to welcome our principal, Dr. Scott, to give our closing remarks.
Good afternoon. We can give our head of school a round of applause. And again, if we can honor our recipients. And to our phenomenal students, if we can give them another round of applause. We are going to be dismissed at this time. When we call your class, if you would govern yourselves accordingly and follow the order of your class. But before we leave, we can't leave without you saying with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Stand for something. Don't forget. Thank you so much for governing yourselves accordingly during today's program. At this time,